Welcome to this episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. I am host and founder and executive director of Voices for Voices, Justin Allen Hayes. Welcome to this episode. This is a part two of the two-part series, where in the first episode, the first part, we talk through and we read names of 158 members of the United States House of Representatives who voted against a House resolution of deporting of migrants for sex offenses. So we did. We took about eight minutes or so, that's a lot of time, a lot of air time, a lot of time that could have been spent on other sub-content. But it's important. In this case, names are important. We should know, as the average US citizen, we should know and hold people accountable, especially our elected officials who are being paid by you and I, the United States of American taxpayer, or salaries and benefits, privacy, security is funded by you and I. And so when we have topics where they're just incredible to talk about, we want to bring those up, and we're going to have added additional episodes as we work our way through 2025 and beyond, where we need to get this content out sooner than our regular production schedule. The beauty of being in the studio, there's too many areas that makes being in the studio beautiful, and being able to do the filmings there of the majority of our episodes. But with that being said, sometimes there's limitations where we're on a production schedule where we're filming ahead, and so at this point in time we're quite a ways ahead, but we don't want to hold back this content and sharing it with you, because it's important, and as an organization we get to decide that. So if it's not important to you, then maybe tune off this episode. And we don't like to have people turn away, but we want to have the people, the viewers, the listeners that have been with us from the beginning, or have just recently in the last episode or two found out about Voices for Voices and found our valuable Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. So wherever you fall on that, we want to make sure that what we're doing as an organization, where we're doing things ethically, we're holding people accountable, we're obviously sharing the voices, and we're sharing the voices of individuals who have been taken advantage of. And so again, those 158 United States House of Representatives, which happened to all be Democrats, that voted against deporting migrants for sex offenses, and individuals who have been impacted, family, friends, co-workers. There's so many people get impacted by these things, and not just sex offenses, but breaking the law in general. It touches much more than just the victim, the victim family and the friends, the co-workers, and even the perpetrators or accused, alleged, before they go through the judicial process, the criminal justice process. And so as a father, I feel this is very important to share. As an individual who wouldn't want my representative voting against this, whether the individual was convicted of a sex offense that was a U.S. citizen or not. I don't care whether you're a U.S. citizen or not. You break the law, you do the crime, you do the time. Full stop. That's where we're at on this. This particular House resolution is talking about migrants, people coming from outside the United States in, and that's what was specifically voted on. And as a human being, I think if I go to a different country, and that's what we should just think about. If we were to go, you and I, we were to go to a foreign country, hypothetically, we would commit a crime. Would you expect to be let go and just go home? Just like, forget about it. I wouldn't. And I think my judgment would be flawed if I thought that, oh yeah, I could go to a foreign country, break their law, and I won't be deported back to my home country, that the laws don't apply to me. Come on. They say, come on, man. Well, come on, any human being that takes a second to think about that hypothetical would be expected to say, yeah, you know what, I probably wouldn't be let go. If we're not going to name other countries, as we have a great following. Again, we're talking over 500 cities, over 50 countries, and it's growing by the day. So I'm not going to individualize particular country. Now, if I start talking about different facts, and the facts come from trusted sources from a particular country, now that's something different. But if I'm just hypothetically throwing, and again, a hypothetical out there, I'm not going to do that, because that just, to me, it's not the best way to go through a situation like this. So I just said I wouldn't talk about countries and hypotheticals, and that's true. But when you have facts, that's different. And so what we're going to be touching on is really an extension of what we talked about last episode. What we're talking about, in the United States. So we talk about the voting of a particular House resolution that 158 U.S. House representative members voted against. Said, nope, we shouldn't deport individuals for sex crimes. So doing more research, come across multiple sources that are reporting the same thing. So we're not just going with one source and saying, yeah, this is what we think. So at least 5 sources came out with this exact post printout, and these are legit. And we talk about on what's legit. Well, if there is stationery with a particular country or city on there, a seal, on documents, signatures. Those are things where we think of holding a little bit more water than just a typed message on a social media platform. So in London, this information is coming from the office of Nadia Whittome, MP, which is Member of Parliament. And Nadia is a Member of Parliament for Nottingham East, the House of Commons in London, SW1A 0AA. And she posted a list of MP, members of Parliament, who voted against deporting foreign rapists. Where else did we hear something similar to this? Could it have been part one of this two-part series? I think so. So that's where the 158 comes into play with what we're talking about here. And so here's a list of the members of Parliament in London who voted against deporting foreign rapists. So they're a little bit more specific, talking about we talk about sex crimes, and so I am kind of blocking out, and so there's some names there. And there's some names there. Just not going to take the time that we took in the previous episode to read the names. But I find it a little bit interesting, don't you? That people who are elected on this specific topic voted like this. What do they have against? What do they have against children? What do they have against people in general who have been victimized by sex crimes, by rape specifically, in London, where they have their centralized government there? What do they have against those people, these people, our people, any human? Again, what's going on here? The United States had a resolution. 158 elected officials said, "Thanks, but no thanks. We shouldn't deport them. It's not bad enough. These crimes they're just not bad enough. Or we shouldn't even deport them if the crime is that bad. And who are we to say if the crime's bad or not? Anybody, again, who has a child, a daughter, a son, and again, these actions don't just affect children. I mean, that's the sickest, the most vile. When individuals take part in crimes against children. But sex crimes still happen to adults. adults can be, country to country. Is an individual have to be 18 and over, or 21 and over, and what, we're not here to talk about that verbiage and go deep diving into that. What we're here to talk about the specific, in the United States, we talked about, should we deport migrants who've been, convicted and have committed sex crimes? Yes or no? And then we have here, most recently, that I just shared, the members of parliament in London who voted against deporting foreign rapists. Why is there even a list of people that voted against? That's probably the most alarming piece. Is why is there even a list of people who voted against that? And if we put that aside, why are there 3 columns of the MPs, the members of parliament? Why are there 3 columns of names? Just blows my mind, and it probably blows your mind as well. Another piece coming out of that part of the world. It's called, we're talking here, Mario No Fall is the article we pulled, but the article is across many sources. So we're just gonna give credit where credit is due. It says, a disturbing pattern emerges from Farage's revelations. Labor suppresses inquiries, while conservatives dodge responsibility. For 14 years, the Tories had power to investigate rape gangs targeting children. They didn't. Now, Starmer, who was director of public prosecutions during the crisis, blocks the statutory inquiry. Sorry, no, can't inquire about that. This isn't incompetence, it's institutional cowardice. When political correctness trumps or overrules protecting children, the system isn't just broken, it's corrupt. And that's really what we're talking about here. We're talking about corruption. So while authorities sanitize terminology, grooming gangs instead of rape gangs, predators operate with impunity across 50 British cities. So staying with this theme. So the establishment's message is clear. They'd rather bury truth than face it. And I think, again, that it's just sickening. So let's go back across the pond here to the United States. And this is one of many cases that have kind of tangentially crossed over, as we're talking about sex crimes. And so we're talking here in Florida, the state of Florida. There's a doctor that was charged for exploiting minors online. Well, okay, so a doctor, what's a doctor? Besides, what specifically they do as a doctor, their day-to-day, whether they do surgeries or they're able to prescribe medication, assess somebody has a disease, a challenge, that they need medication. There's somebody in power, in a power position. Now, we just got done talking in the part 1 of the this 2-part series of the 158. Okay. Well, those 158 are in places of power. It's not, the law isn't for we, it's for thee. Thee being you and I. So members in power. So a doctor is an individual who is considered in power, right? You go to the doctor, I go to the doctor. We want to see, a professional, somebody has the education, the experience with certain areas, whether it's mental health, whether it's a chiropractor, whatever that thing is, we want to go to the people that are the professionals, the specialists that have that specialty training. When the car's not working, take it to a mechanic. If I need legal advice, I talk to an attorney. Those types of things. So a doctor. So this doctor, so a 59-year-old doctor from St. Petersburg. And so we're going to give name because the name's publicized here. Stephen Leedy. He now faces charges for creating child sexual abuse material and coercing minors online. And so authorities are saying that Leedy was using, so we talk about children and minors. Okay, so Leedy is a doctor, so he's in a power position. And his username, which also would put somebody in a power position, Maximum Uncle 9112. So an uncle, a mom, a dad, and we talk about the hierarchy of the family in power position. So in my family, I'm in a power position as a dad. So I'm a dad to my daughter, and my wife's a mom to our daughter. And so this judge, I got my mind thinking about the criminal justice process. This particular doctor exploited at least 10 minors, making them create self content, explicit content, and self-harm. And where this all kind of comes to a head is in 2021, a minor died by suicide. And how is this related? It's reported that the individual, the minor that died by suicide, did so following this Dr. Leedy's instructions. So in this case, this individual, he's looking at life in prison if he's found guilty on all charges. And so this is coming out of the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Middle District of Florida. So this is very unfortunate, but this is what we should be doing with these individuals, these migrants, whether they're from a different country than the United States, but they're here and they haven't gone through the process to become a U.S. citizen. And even if they have, you do the crime, you do the time. And so this particular doctor, if it comes to light that he did the crime, he should most definitely do the time. That's what we're talking about here. And we're going to actually have a 3-part series because we do have some additional content to really close out these particular areas, these topics. The started with the 158, and then we got the 3 columns. I didn't go through and add up how many members of parliament there were that voted against deporting foreign rapists. And then again, we brought it back here to the United States, and we closed on a story coming out of Florida where there was a doctor that was using the position of power, taking advantage of minors, and one died by suicide, reportedly by their instructions. And so us as an organization, Voices for Voices, we believe that the actions were allegedly perpetrated by this individual, this doctor, should definitely go through the criminal justice process. As a human, if a time comes where I'm not going to speculate on what we believe, we think that what was described with the the 10 minors and one reportedly dying by suicide according to his instructions. I'm just not going to comment on what we think ultimately should happen sentence-wise, but definitely needs to pay and do the time. And we'll just leave that there. So again, we thought, and I thought we were gonna have a two-part series here, and I was wrong. But it's good. It's good that we're sharing information. You may be unaware of some of this information, and so we're sharing it. We don't have to like every single thing that we talk about and that we select guest-wise or content-wise. But what you're going to be able to do, and what you've been able to do, since the first episode, is you're gonna and have been hearing and seeing the voices of people, of stories, of people, experiences of people, the voice in all of us. So whether I'm that voice, whether in this particular story where the 10 minors, those are the voices, I'm speaking from documents that talk about these 10 minors. And so we don't have the names of those 10, but I'm being the mouthpiece of those 10 to say, yeah, this happens. And it's not just one socioeconomic class. We have people in elected positions who are deciding to say, nope, this isn't bad. This is not bad enough. We have a doctor who's in a power position. And stay tuned for episode 3, where we're going to talk about additional people in power positions and the credibility that we have given over the course of time. For whatever reason, we'll find out. Come back for episode 3 of this 3-part series. So this is episode 2. Come back for episode 3. Thank you again for joining us on this episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. I am your host, founder, and executive director of Voices for Voices, Justin Allen Hayes. And until next time, be a voice for you or somebody in need.